Welcome back to GISC 126, Fundamentals of GIS. So today's lecture will discuss various design principles used in cartography. So in addition to effective use of colors and symbols, a map that is well designed will greatly enhance its ability to relate pertinent spatial information to the viewers. And after all, that's what the job of a map is to do: communicate information. So judicious use of map elements, typography, labels, and design principles will result in a map that minimizes confusion and maximizes interpretability. Furthermore, the use of these components must be guided by a solid understanding of the map's purpose and intended audience. So there are four basic design principles to consider during the cartographic design process, and they are legibility, visual contrast, figure-to-ground contrast, and hierarchical organization of layers. So these principles come into play at different points in the process of constructing a map. So all map elements need to be legible, meaning that they are readable, understandable, and recognizable. All need to be large enough and clear enough relative to the visual scale or the viewing scale in the media on which the final map will be displayed. So in this figure, maps A and C have poor legibility due to the size of the text and symbol. By increasing the size, the map legibility greatly increases. Visual contrast relates to how map features and map page elements contrast with each other and their background. So a well-designed map with a high degree of visual contrast can result in a crisp, clean, sharp-looking map. So the higher the contrast between features, the more some features will stand out. And usually it's the features that are darker or brighter. So thematic maps use visual contrast between classes of map features to establish a figure-to-ground contrast. So the layer of the theme that contains the important data should stand out from the background layer of the map. So cartographers use this design principle to help their map readers find the area of the map or page to focus on. And in this map, you notice this. The figure, the map of population density, stands out clearly from the other map elements. So recall from the last lectures, never make a choropleth map of raw data. Always normalize your data. Next, we turn to visual hierarchy. Is content organized in a manner that visually communicates order and importance? So visual cues, such as size, position, arrangement, and color, can be used to create this visual hierarchy on a map. So visual hierarchy creates a sense of depth on a flat map and enables quicker reading of the map for meaning and importance. So your job as a map maker is to make sure that the reader's eye is drawn to the features that define the purpose of the map and is not confused with other less important information. So here's an example of visual contrast, where the map on the left has poor contrast as the weather symbols blend in with the state boundaries, right? So you kind of want to see there's where the states are, but the important thing is the weather component. So with poor visual contrast, it's difficult to read the map. The map is much more improved on the right, where the weather symbol stand out from the state boundaries. As I said, after all, the weather information is what's the most concerned with here. So this should be emphasized on the map. So here in this map, the visual hierarchy just pops out at you. This is a well-constructed map that quickly focuses your attention on the important information, where we can look at how these diseases originated and spread. So this is an example of a flow map as well, which we discussed. So it's a pretty interesting and cool map. At least I think so. So the visual hierarchy of text is important as well. So what I want you to do is to count how many lakes there are, how many lakes and names are on this map. So I'll wait for you. Just kidding. That would take too long. It's not easy. So this map, which employs visual hierarchy of text, is much easier to communicate where the lakes are. Now the lakes are italicized and in blue, and we can quickly see that, along with the other kinds of changes. But this map is a much more clear and easier map to read. Before, there was no distinguishing between hierarchy of text. It's just all the same font. Here, we've changed things around. Bolded things, changed colors, italicized, and so forth. So type refers to the words that appear on maps. So type is commonly organized according to characteristics such as type family, type style, and type size. So a type family is a collection of related typefaces which share common design traits and a common name, such as Arial or Bookman. As a general practice, you don't want to use more than 2 type families on one map. Within a type family, type is differentiated by type style. So for example, Roman normal, bold, italics are common type styles. So a particular typeface is differentiated by type size, which is measured in points. So in typography, a serif is a little stroke found at the end of the main vertical and horizontal strokes of some of the letters. So you can see examples of the serifs in the Bookman type family. Without serifs is termed sans serifs. So Arial is a sans serif type family. Bookman is a serif. And those are the little hooks at the end. So types on a map. You want to limit the font family to 1 or 2 per map. Avoid decorative fonts unless it specifically calls for that kind of font. And generally, you just want to avoid these decorative things. They're difficult to read. Use sizes between 6-point and 12-point. Cultural features are usually used sans serif fonts, and physical features are serifs and italicized. So you can use spacing, size, color, bold, italics, and letter cases to kind of separate single font families into multiple type styles. So here's a great example. You look at the map on the left, and everything kind of blends together. Nothing pops out, nothing stands out. You go to the map on the right, things stand out, you can differentiate, you can read the map clearer. It helps the map audience interpret what you're looking at much quicker and easier.